among them shall be subjected to a painful chastisement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this question about, because as Christians we're often said we're called pagans,
Yeah.
and we worship Greek gods.
Yes.
And I don't know whether you share that belief or you believe that we are polytheistic in any way, shape or form. It'd be interesting to hear your view on that.
So what is your contention with this verse?
So it's saying the third of three. It says they have certainly disbelieved who say Allah is the third of three.
So he's one of the three, basically.
Okay.
So what's the problem with that?
So 1 second. So I think the contention is basically saying a third of three. So if you're saying a third of three is 1 out of 3. So then you've got 2/3. So according to this verse, who are the other 2/3?
So are you looking at it as a fraction?
Well, it's saying the third of 3.
Yeah, but a third of three can mean a
So
third, mathematically. As a fraction,
how
it
many
can mean,
how many
it
persons?
can mean 3 persons,
Yeah.
and one of the 3 can mean that as well, can't it?
Yeah, exactly.
So are you saying that it's implying that it's a third as a fraction, or one of the 3?
So 1 of 3.
Yeah, okay.
One is identified
Yeah.
as Allah,
So, yes,
as the third of the 3.
yes.
But then the question is who are the other 2?
I don't think that's the question.
No, that's my question, because it says a third of 3.
The problem here is this.
One,
I'll explain. You're coming with the assumption that this is dealing with a specific brand of Christianity. But there are people who have differed on what the Trinity comprises
The
in
3
history.
are.
So there are groups of people in the past, the Collyridians, for example, who were around at the time, the Northern Arabian Christians, who believed that Mary was part of the Trinity.
That's not true.
No, there's a group of Christians. I know you don't believe it. I'm not saying you believe it.
No,
I'm saying there are a group of Christians in history who believe that Mary was part of the Trinity.
No, they believe they may have deified.
No,
Mary, but they didn't.
You're hearing
include
not.
They didn't include her in the Trinity.
Collyridians.
I know Collyridians.
Yeah, they believe that Mary was part of the Trinity. Now, different from Catholics who pray to Mary, but the point here is that a specific point is being made. Christians say there are 3. There's some aspect of God which is 3. Some aspect of God which is 3, and they say Allah is one of these 3. And people who make this statement that Allah is one of 3, they're wrong, and they're going to face the consequences of that. Now, what you seem to be wanting us to do is identify the Trinity for you, and that's not the meaning of the verse. The point here is that whatever you identify the Trinity as, it's wrong.
So I think what's interesting is I get the context of the other 2 being Mary, according to Surah 5:116, and also Isa. So like in Surah 5:116 it says, "And beware the day when Allah will say, O Jesus, son of Mary, did you say to the people, take me and my mother as deities besides Allah? He will say, exalted are you, it was not for me to say that to you which I have no right."
Yeah.
Okay? And it goes on. So if you read the context, if you go from Surah 573 to 116, you get context, and you're able to identify.
No, that's
able to
incorrect.
identify Mary as well as Isa.
So let me give you an example. So what you're doing is here is you're taking.
Quick search.
Yeah.
So it says Collyridianism,
Collyridians.
or Collyridianism, I can't say because I'm dyslexic, was an alleged Christian movement in Arabia whose adherents worshipped the Virgin Mary. So they worshipped her.
Yeah, but they didn't include her in the Trinity.
So they were worshipping a divine being, or they were worshipping just an ordinary woman.
So the Collyridians looked at Mary as a goddess.
Yes, so that's what the Quran is basically
So
saying.
there's 2 separate things here.
It's not saying that she's part of the Trinity.
Yeah, but this is the concept here. So the Quran is not talking about your specific Christianity. It doesn't matter because there have been lots of different. There are Gnostic Christians people who don't believe that Jesus had a corporeal
But
body.
does that verse mention
They,
Trinity?
they believe. No, it doesn't mention Trinity.
It doesn't mention
So
Trinity, does it?
the problem here is this is an old Christian thing, where they want to say the Quran gets the Trinity wrong. And the problem here is, which Trinity are you talking about? Are you talking about the Trinity of the Collyridians? Are you talking about the Trinity of the Gnostics? Are you talking about the Protestants? Which one are you talking about?
This is the thing. So this is where historically, I think you're going to have a few challenges if
Go
you
on.
say that it's historically documented that the Collyridians worshipped Mary as a goddess within a trinity. There isn't any historical evidence to suggest that the worship of Mary was ever included in the Trinity. I don't know.
Sure,
any
I
other
understand.
denomination.
Does the verse mention Trinity?
It doesn't.
It does.
That
it
word
doesn't.
verse, does it
It doesn't
mention
mention Trinity.
In the chapter.
No.
No, but
That's a different.
You quoted the verse.
The verse you're talking about
Okay, yeah. Let me
is
get
specifically.
to the, So obviously it depends on the translation.
Yeah,
No,
so,
no.
So if it depends
No,
what the Arabic says.
One
right?
verse mentions one of three. Do not say Allah is one of three. And another verse, literally 40, 50 verses later, mentions that Jesus will be asked in the Day of Judgment. Now, what you're making an assumption is that this is identification of, the one is identifying the other two members of the Trinity. That's not the case. You have to establish that that's the case. You can't just make an assumption and say
That's
this
fine.
is it.
I can, and that's what, and that's
Yeah, yeah.
effectively. So, let me go to Surah 573. So I'm just trying to get access to it. So, for example, in the Clear Quran by Dr. Mustafa Khattab, he says, those who say Allah is one in a trinity have certainly fallen into disbelief. There is only one God. If they do not stop saying this, those who disbelieve among them will be afflicted with a painful punishment.
Does the Arabic mention the word Trinity there, or is that
One
Mustafa
of
Khattab?
three. One of three.
So like I...
So Mustafa Khattab has indicated that this might be referring to the Trinity.
Yeah, but what's
the actual Arabic itself does not have the word Trinity, does it?
Well, this is the thing. So
what's more important, to go to the Arabic, the original Arabic of the Quran, or pick a translation that agrees with your argument? What's more important to do here?
No. I think that's not. Well, with respect, from this Abbas, like that's not the only particular scholar that is saying this.
No, but
Yusuf Ali.
what I'm saying to you is, if you're going to quote me a verse of the Quran,
Yes.
then the first thing I'm going to do is I'm not going to look at an English translation, because that's not the Quran. That's an explanation of a translator or a scholar, correct?
So it's very interesting because you can
So
just.
I go to the original Arabic text.
Abbas, I find that interesting because why wouldn't you allow for the English? Because
I'll tell you why.
I'll tell you why, yeah, yeah.
I'll explain to you why.
I understand Arabic because it does say in Arabic a third of three.
Third
I'll
of three,
explain to you why.
But it's being interpreted in the
Yeah,
English
Godhead,
as
I'll
Trinity.
explain to you why. Okay? Because what's more important? The Word of God or a translator's view of what it might be talking about? What's more important?
How are you going to know without translating?
Well, I'm asking you a question.
'Cause
Listen
we-
to what I
'cause we
just
have-
asked
yeah,
you.
yeah.
No, I understand.
What is more important? The literal Word of God or a translator's view of what that might be? What's more important?
Okay. I would say the literal word of God.
Right, so does the literal Word of God, the Arabic of that verse, mention the word Trinity?
No, it says third of three.
It says a third of three
Okay, so-
because
okay,
obviously that's in the
hold on,
It says
hold on.
third
So it doesn't
of
mention
three.
the word Trinity.
Okay.
So now, what I'm saying to you is,
Fine.
to understand what it might be talking about, I can understand why you might get confused.
No, it's not confusion.
Well, of course it is, because you're
But
saying.
Abbas, are you throwing Yusuf Ali under the bus?
No, listen.
This
This
old-
type of
yeah, yeah, yeah.
language, this type of language.
Did Yusuf Ali
is
make
so
mistakes in his
unnecessary.
translations? 100%.
Okay, well, that's
Yes,
fine.
so
100%.
unnecessary.
Now that's not throwing anyone under the bus. Do you understand?
So you're-
That's not. So what? So this is the problem that you have as Christians. So for example, when you're translating, when some of your translators are translating words from Koine Greek, which is spoken by a handful of people, into English, they'll do things like capital G and small g for God and God. But in Hebrew, in Greek, there are no capitals or small letters. So what they do is they put their understanding into the translation, which fits with your understanding as a Trinitarian. So when they're referring to Moses, they'll put G as in they'll put in G small g, but when they're referring to Jesus, they'll put in a capital G. And
Someone switched it off.
No, nobody touched it.
nobody touched it.
I don't know. Yes.
Nobody touched the camera.
Press play.
Make sure he's recording.
You can watch it on EF Dawa, don't worry.
Yeah.
We'll have a 4K copy on there for you.
Sorry, guys.
That's okay.
So I'll be 1 second.
That's okay. So is it 5 minutes left? Or?
Yeah, we've got 5 minutes left. So what we'll do is we'll finish this point.
Yeah.
We can agree to disagree, and then we can ask one question, and then we can end the discussion. Yeah? I think that's fair. Assalamu alaikum.
What are you talking about? How are you doing? You okay?
Well, the learned amongst us, mashallah.
Trying to keep up the sun.
Oh, today's been a bit brutal, actually. Us people with dark complexion should not even be complaining about the sun. We've become too Anglo-Saxonized.
It turned into coconut.
You can't say that, it's racist.
Oh, sorry, these cameras are now.
We can't call ourselves coconut, that's racist. Subhanallah. They're going to arrest us for being racist amongst ourselves, to ourselves.
Honestly, Muslims can't get away with anything.
No.
You can't even insult yourself.
You can't even call yourself a fruit now. Subhanallah.
Okay, well, I'm an orange.
I love the chocolate bounty a lot. You like bounty? It's a nice chocolate, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it's a nice chocolate. It's lovely and chocolatey on the
On the
outside.
outside, and it's got lovely creamy white on the inside, isn't it? It's lovely, isn't it? Yeah? Yeah? Exactly. Hopefully we won't get in trouble for that. Do you know what I mean? Because we like bounty.
It's okay, we're not making any references to Swallow Bradman,
No, stop it.
Rishi
Not
Sunak,
at all.
or to any of these other,
No.
bounties. No, you can't say that, can you?
No, you can't say that. No. And I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't use that language. Okay, are we ready?
Yeah, ready. Yes.
Okay, so the Arabic doesn't mention the word Trinity. So it's only fair and just for us to say to you, my brother, you've gone to a